Hello students, secondary 1 chemistry. Now are still in unit 3. The lesson now is dissolving degree and degree of solubility. When you have a certain solid such as sodium chloride solution, sodium chloride, and dissolve it in water, takes the salt and splits it into ions. These ions are separated, sodium ions separated from chloride ion, and each ion is surrounded by water molecules. This process is called dissolving process. So dissolving process is the process occurs when the solute, which is the salt here, solute decomposes or dissociates or splits into negative and positive ions such as sodium and chloride ions, separated into positive and negative ions, and surrounded by molecules of the solvent. This is the definition of dissolving process. This is also another imagination for the dissolving process. This is the solute and this is the solvent, such as water, for example. Water separates the molecules of the sugar into molecules, not into ions as in the case of sodium chloride, but into molecules. Molecules are separated from each other, and this separation process continues till complete separation, and we say that the sugar dissolved in water. And as it is clear here, each molecule of sugar is surrounded by water molecules. This is the process of dissolution or dissolving process. Now each substance, each solute dissolves in water to a certain extent. So if you want to know which is dissolving more, sugar in water dissolves more or salt in water dissolves more. For example, if you make 5 experiments, in each experiment you take 100 grams of water in each experiment, and try to dissolve sodium chloride, which is a solute, glucose powder, calcium chloride, calcium carbonate, potassium nitrate in separate beakers each containing 100 grams of water. If you suppose that you try to dissolve sodium chloride, what will happen here? When you add sodium chloride to water, sodium chloride dissolves in water. Then when you add more salt, dissolves. When you add more salt, dissolve, till maximum 56 grams of water dissolved in 100 grams of water. 56 grams of sodium chloride dissolved in 100 grams of water. We say that the degree of solubility of sodium chloride is 56 grams per 100 grams of water. In the same way, when you have a new beaker containing 100 grams of water and try to dissolve glucose powder, which is a kind of sugar, glucose will dissolve. When you add more sugar, dissolve. When you add more sugar, dissolve, till maximum 48 grams of glucose dissolved. Maximum quantity of glucose that can dissolve in water is 48 grams. We say that the degree of solubility of glucose is 48 grams of glucose per 100 grams of water. In the same way, maximum amount of calcium chloride that dissolve 35 grams, and we say that 35 grams is the degree of solubility of calcium chloride in 100 grams of water. 2 grams of calcium carbonate is the maximum amount of calcium carbonate that can dissolve in 100 grams of water. The same way, 67 grams of potassium nitrate is the maximum amount of potassium nitrate that dissolved in 100 grams of water. This is the degree of solubility. So what is the degree of solubility? The mass of the solute in grams which dissolves in 100 grams of the solvent, such as water, to form a saturated solution. Saturated solution means the maximum amount at the standard conditions, means at 1 atmosphere pressure and 25 degrees centigrade or degree Celsius. Okay, this is the definition of degree of solubility. What are the factors that will govern if a substance dissolves in water or not, and what is the amount of degree of solubility? The factors affecting solubility is the nature of solute and solvent. If the I mean here that if the solute is polar or non-polar, ionic or not, and so on. Nature of solute and solvent is an important factor that determines the solubility of the solute. Also the temperature. At higher temperature, the solution of the solid occurs more. So there is a direct relationship between the amount of the solute that dissolves in the solvent and the temperature. As the temperature increases, the amount of solute increases, dissolves increases. Here in this diagram, as it is clear here, as the temperature increases, the solubility increases. This is a direct relationship: increase, 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 and so on. For solids, solid solutes have solubility which increases by increasing the temperature. Also the factors which affect the speed of dissolving process. The surface area. As the surface area of the solute increases, dissolving process increases faster. For example, if you have a cube of sugar, the cube of sugar dissolves slowly, but powdered sugar dissolves faster. What is the difference between the cube of sugar and the sugar powder? The surface area. The surface area of the powdered sugar has higher or greater surface area than the cube of sugar. Also, stirring process. If you carry out a stirring process, the substance, the solute, will dissolve faster. Also, the temperature, as we said, has a high effect on the solubility. As the temperature increases, the dissolving process increases faster. This is a paragraph which explains that. As the surface area increases, the speed of the dissolving process increases. As the temperature increases, the speed of the dissolving process increases. This is a direct relationship between temperature and these two, and the speed of the dissolving process. This is also a group of substances, solid substance, for solid substances such as sodium chloride, potassium chloride, calcium chloride, and potassium nitrate, sodium nitrate. As it is clear here, as the temperature increases, the solubility increases. But for gases, as the temperature increases, the solubility decreases. Here, ammonia gas decreases. HCl gas, HCl is hydrogen chloride. As the temperature increases, the solubility decreases for gases. But for solutes, solid solutes, as the temperature increases, the solubility increases. There are three types of solutions: unsaturated solution, saturated solution, and super saturated solution. Here, when you add a spoonful of sugar to water and stir, the sugar will dissolve. This solution is unsaturated because this amount of water in the glass can dissolve more sugar or more salt. So this solution is called unsaturated solution. The solution in which the solvent can accept more solute at a certain temperature. By continuing adding sugar or salt to water and stirring, the solution will happen. By adding more, the solution will happen. By adding more sugar or salt, dissolution or dissolving process will happen. Not for infinity, but to a certain limits. At this limit, we say that this solution is saturated. The saturated solution is a solution in which the solvent contains the maximum amount of solute at a certain temperature without heating. This solution is called saturated solution, which has maximum amount of solute at a certain temperature. In the case of supersaturated solution, when you arrive to the saturated solution and add more solute, this more solute will not dissolve. But when you heat this saturated solution, which contains some undissolved solute, by heating, this undissolved amount will dissolve under the effect of heating, and at this moment we say that this solution is supersaturated solution. By cooling this supersaturated solution, precipitation will happen. The extra amount of the solute which dissolved under the influence of heating will reprecipitate again at the bottom of the beaker, and saturation will occur again. So this solution is unstable. Supersaturated solution is unstable. It is stable only at higher temperature, but by cooling, this extra amount of solute which is added will reprecipitate again. So the supersaturated solution is a solution in which the solvent contains more solute than the maximum amount after reaching the state of saturation. This is what I want to say, and we arrive to the end of our lesson. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.